Guys, I'm Derek. Now, I'm no Confucius or Nostradamus, but I can pick up what's being put down in the media, and I can make some pretty good predictions on what's to come in the next year or in the next few months. So just a quick recap on what's going on now in pop culture. My predictions are the 90s are coming back in full force. Now allow me to educate you as to why I'm saying that. Movies are being rebooted left and right. Now we've seen the comic book boom and the graphic novel boom, but with a few film flops like Spider-Man, Punisher 2, and Ghost Rider. Film companies might want to start rethinking their strategy. Thus, the reboot of movies that were cool in the 90s. The things we can do with films now are just completely insane. You can make the most B-rated movie from the 90s and make it into a blockbuster smash. Now take for example the newly rebooted Judge Dredd franchise. Stallone's take on the legendary comic book character wasn't all that bad, but the grim, futuristic tale in Carl Urban's Dredd 3D has taken the comedy out and added some very cool stylized violence and take no prisoners attitude, and took what could have been a flop and made it into a hit. Also, we're seeing reboots and continuing franchises like Prometheus, Rambo, Live Free Die Hard, Star Trek, Tron, and these big popcorn flicks. So, my predictions. I foresee several movies being either rebooted or continued and completely being reinvented. But first, what I don't see happening anytime soon. I don't see a reboot of the film Clueless. Partly because of the passing of Brittany Murphy, but also because most 90s comedies, it doesn't need to be revisited because it's not really all that funny and it's not going to make a lot of money. And the bottom line here is dollars. I most certainly see a reboot in Kurt Russell's film career. We saw the return of a lot of action stars in Expendables 1 and 2, but stars that can do comedy and action are in very short order. However, I see Kurt Russell reprising his role as Snake Plissken or as Cash in one of my favorite buddy cop films, Tango and Cash. I also foresee a relaunch or a reboot in either House Party films or something like it, just with a whole lot more gross-out humor and outlandish one-night escapades. With the success of films like Harold and Kumar, Project X, and the Hangover films, Lovable Losers and Awesome Parties will begin to take over the film industry in mid-February of 2013, partly because it's around spring break time and those movies have done typically well in the box office. They're low budget and they always push the envelope with just comedy in general. But the 90s reboots party flicks come with two things that I loathe so much: fashion and pop music. Bands like Smash Mouth and Sugar Ray dominated the edgy pop rock scene in the late 90s. And let's face it, as fun as they were to listen to, they broke up. And they still get a whole lot of radio airplay. Artists are adapting their style to venture into the past and regurgitate it in pop music today. They've remixed a whole lot of music into today's new pop music. You see bands like One Direction. One Direction is a musical mashup of boy bands and something from Disney's camp rock genre? I don't know. And hip-hop artists like Nicki Minaj and MIA have blatantly used 90s hip-hop fashion to redefine the genre with previous styles of fashion and beats. I don't know. So, my prediction. 1, we've already seen No Doubt make a comeback. We've already seen Van Halen and the horrible reunion of Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block. I honestly don't see NSYNC getting back together anytime soon. However, I may see them in an SNL appearance because, let's face it, Timberlake is freaking hilarious. Also, however, I do see a Sugar Ray reunion, as well as Creed. As much as people may dislike them, no one can deny the money-making capabilities that are there. And let's face it, the 90s music was very, very weird, but so is today's music. Money is driving the train here. And with the use of social media sites like Twitter and Facebook, bands can see their fan base grow in real time. So expect to see a lot of old faces. Some of them may be altered, but nevertheless expect things to get a whole lot weirder with reunions, reboots, and regurgitation to continue. I'm Derek Lee, and those are my predictions, and yes, you can say I told you so.